Ladies and gentlemen, tennis fans from across the globe, and especially our passionate supporters in the Philippines and Japan, welcome back to the channel. We are standing on the precipice of what is undoubtedly the most anticipated, the most electrifying, and frankly, the most shocking matchup of the year so far in the Asian tennis circuit. If you thought the start of the 2026 season was just a warm-up, you need to think again. The headlines are screaming, the forums are burning up, and the entirely in a state of absolute disbelief at the draw that has just unfolded. We are looking at the Philippines Open preview, but this is not just any preview. This is the collision course we have all been waiting for. The newly minted top 50 sensation Alexandra Eala is set to lock horns with a juggernaut of the IT in the circuit, a player whose resume reads like a warning sign to anyone who dares stand across the net. About the 13-time, yes, you heard me correctly, the 13-time champion, Japan's Moyuka Uchijima. Today's broadcast is all of Japan shocked, and for good reason. The sheer magnitude and then the product that they feed of this early round clash has sent ripples through the tennis community.
Why? Because this isn't just a match. It is a narrative of redemption, of vengeance, and of territorial defense. We have Alex Eala playing on home soil, fueled by a crowd that is hungry for a defining victory. And standing in her way is not some journeyman, but a tactical genius, a woman who has lifted 13 trophies, a woman who holds a psychological edge over Eala from their grueling encounter in Wuhan just months ago. This is a Philippines Open preview that has turned into a continental showdown. In this extensive special report, we are not just skimming the surface. We are going deep. We're going to dissect the shock factor, why the Japanese media is reacting the way they are. Is it fear? Is it respect? Or is it the realization that the Alex Eala they beat in Wuhan is not the same Alex Eala standing in Manila today? We will analyze the numbers. We will break down Uchijima's 13 titles and what that specific kind of winning pedigree brings to a high-pressure court. We will look at Eala's blistering start to 2026, her semi-final run in Auckland that silenced the critics, and her breakthrough into the world's top 50. We're talking forehand speeds, serve percentages, mental fortitude, and the tactical adjustments both camps are making right now behind closed doors. So buckle up. Whether you are rooting for the rising Filipino star or the seasoned Japanese champion, this video is your ultimate guide. By the end of this broadcast, you will know exactly why this match is the only thing the tennis world should be watching this week. Let's get into the breaking news. Alex Eala versus Moyuka Uchijima. The rematch. The homestand. The shock. Let's go. Now, let's transition into our deep dive. To truly understand the gravity of this matchup, we have to strip away the hype and look at the cold, hard reality of who these two women are at this specific moment in history. Because context is everything. Let's start with a player who has triggered this wave of shock across the sea of Japan, Moyuka Uchijima. If you're a casual fan, you might look at the current rankings and see Uchijima sitting just inside the top 90, maybe assuming she's the underdog against a higher-ranked Eala. That would be a fatal mistake. To understand Uchijima, you have to look at that number highlighted in our headline, 13. 13 titles. In the world of professional tennis, specifically on the ITF circuit where the grind is most brutal, winning one title is a career highlight for many. Winning 13 is a dynasty. It speaks to a level of consistency, a level of grit, and a winning habit that is incredibly difficult to teach. Uchijima is what we call a match winner. She knows how to close. When she gets into a final, when she smells blood in the water, she has the muscle memory of lifting a trophy 13 times over. That is a dangerous quality. It means she doesn't panic in the tight moments. It means she is comfortable with the weight of expectation. The Japanese media is shocked, not because they think she will lose, but because they realize she has drawn the most dangerous unseeded floater imaginable in Alex Eala. They know that Uchijima's pedigree is arguably top 50 caliber when she is on form, as we saw when she peaked at world number 47 just last year. Let's talk about her game style. Uchijima is a flat hitter. She plays with trajectory that stays low over the net, skidding through the court. On the hard courts of the Philippines Open, this is a lethal weapon. She takes time away from her opponents. She doesn't give you that high bouncing ball that lets you reset the point. She rushes you. She suffocates you. And this is exactly what troubled Alex Eala in their last meeting. Which brings us to the elephant in the room, the head-to-head. We have to talk about Wuhan. October 2025. The Wuhan Open qualifying. This is fresh history. This isn't a match from 5 years ago. This happened effectively yesterday in tennis terms. Eala and Uchijima went to war. It was a 3-set battle. Eala took the first set, looking in control, but Uchijima clawed her way back to win in 3. That match is the blueprint for this preview. What happened in Wuhan? Uchijima successfully neutralized Eala's lefty forehand. She targeted the Eala backhand, kept the rally short, and used her experience to win the big points in the decider. That loss stung for Eala. It was a match she felt she could have won. And now, the narrative flips. Why is the Philippines Open different? Why is this a shock scenario for Japan? 2 words: home court. We cannot quantify the value of the Manila crowd in a spreadsheet, but we know it exists. Alex Eala is not just a tennis player in the Philippines. She is a national icon. Playing in front of a home crowd brings a different kind of pressure. Yes, but it also brings a different kind of adrenaline. In Wuhan, Eala was on neutral ground, perhaps even hostile ground. Here, every winner she hits will be met with a roar. Every error Uchijima makes will be cheered. That changes the psychology of the match. Uchijima is used to fighting on the ITF circuit, often in quiet venues. How will the 13-time champion handle a partisan crowd that is screaming for her defeat? That is the X factor. Now, let's pivot to Alex Eala. The Alex Eala of January 2026 is not the Alex Eala of 2024 or even late 2025. We are witnessing a metamorphosis. She has broken the top 50 barrier. Do you understand how significant that is? That is the elite tier. That is the bracket where you get direct entry into Grand Slams, where you start getting seated at bigger events. Her run to the semifinals in Auckland earlier this month was a statement. She beat established top 50 players. She showed a level of fitness and mental resilience that we hadn't seen consistently before. Eala's game has evolved. Her serve, historically a liability, has become a weapon. She is hitting her spots with more precision, adding more pace. But her biggest asset remains that lefty forehand. When she has time to set up, she can dictate play against anyone in the world. The key for her in this matchup against Uchijima will be court position. In Wuhan, Uchijima pushed Eala back. Eala was defending from 2 meters behind the baseline. To win the Philippines Open clash, Eala needs to step in. She needs to take the ball early, effectively fighting fire with fire. She cannot let Uchijima dictate the tempo. Eala needs to be the aggressor. She needs to use a lefty spin to pull Uchijima off the court, opening up the down-the-line winner. Let's look deeper into the shock from the Japanese perspective. The Japanese tennis community is incredibly knowledgeable. They follow the stats. They know that while Uchijima has the titles, Eala has the momentum. There's a feeling in the forums and the Japanese sports press that this draw is a nightmare scenario for Uchijima. She is trying to rebuild her ranking back to the top 50 and drawing a home favorite, who happens to be in career best form, in the early rounds is the worst possible luck. The shock is the realization that their champion, despite her 13 titles, might be the underdog here. Furthermore, we need to analyze the surface. The Philippines Open is played on outdoor hard courts. Typically, these courts in Manila can be quite fast due to the heat and humidity. The ball flies. This should favor Ukijima's flat hitting, as the ball will skid. However, the heat also favors a superior athlete, the one who can endure grueling rallies in tropical conditions. Eala grew up in this climate. She trains in this. She knows how to manage her hydration, her energy levels, and her grip in humidity. Uchijima, while fit, does not have that same innate acclimation to the Manila heat. If this match goes to 3 sets, and history suggests it might, the physical edge tilts heavily toward the Filipina. Let's discuss the mental aspect. Uchijima is 24 years old, turning 25. Eala is 20. There's an experience gap, but there's also a fearlessness gap. Eala is played with the freedom of a young player who has just reached a major milestone, top 50. She has nothing to defend and everything to gain. Uchijima, on the other hand, is fighting to stay relevant in the top 100 conversation. The pressure is on the veteran. If she loses to a 20-year-old, it's a changing of the guard. If she wins, it's expected. That dynamic weighs heavy. We also have to consider the coaching tactics. Eala's team at the Rafa Nadal Academy has undoubtedly reviewed the Wuhan tape. They know Ukijima's patterns. They know she likes to serve out wide on the deuce court. They know she struggles when forced to hit backhand slices on the run. Expect Eala to employ a very specific game plan. Heavy topspin deep to the Ukijima backhand, forcing a short ball and then attacking the net. Eala's net game has improved drastically in the last 6 months. She is finishing points at the volley much more confidently. Against a flat hitter like Ukijima, bringing her forward or finishing at the net is a great way to disrupt her rhythm. On the other side, Ukijima's camp knows that Eala can be prone to errors if rushed. Their strategy will be simple. Take time away. Deep hit flat, and don't let Eala breathe. They will try to silence the crowd by getting a quick start. If Ukijima goes up 3-0 in the first set, the crowd gets quiet and the pressure on Eala mounts. The first 20 minutes of this match will be absolutely critical. Let's take a moment to appreciate the significance of this rivalry. We have Japan versus the Philippines, two major Asian tennis powers. Japan has a long history of Grand Slam champions and top 10 players, Naomi Osaka, Kei Nishikori, Kamiko Date. The Philippines is looking for that first true global superstar, and they have found it in Alex Eala. This match is a microcosm of that regional battle. It is the established hierarchy Japan versus the rising challenger Philippines. The 13 times champion tag that Ukijima carries is not just a number, it's a shield. It intimidates opponents. But Eala has shown she is not easily intimidated. She has played Grand Slam winners. She has played on Arthur Ashe. She has played on Rod Laver Arena. The glare of the 13 titles won't blind her, but she must respect it. You don't win 13 professional titles by accident. You win them by being a relentless competitor. I want to touch on a specific technical matchup. The serve versus the return. Ukijima's serve stats are solid. She lands a high percentage of first serves, but she doesn't generate massive free points. Eala's return game is aggressive. In her Auckland run, Eala was breaking serve at a rate of over 35%. That is elite. If Ukijima cannot get free points on her serve, she is going to be in for a long day. Eala will punish any second serve that sits up. Conversely, Eala's second serve has been her Achilles heel in the past. In Wuhan, Ukijima feasted on it. Eala has to keep her first serve percentage above 65% to win this match. If she is hitting second serves at 130 kilometers per hour into Ukijima's strike zone, the ball is coming back twice as fast. So, where does the shock ultimately land? If Eala wins, it is a shock to the Japanese system because it confirms their fears. Their experienced champion has been surpassed by the new generation. If Ukijima wins, it is a shock to the Philippines because they truly believe, that Eala is ready to dominate this level. And if the match is a blowout one way or the other, that would be the biggest shock of all, because on paper, these two are razor-thin close. The rankings say Eala is better. The head-to-head says Ukijima is better. The titles say Ukijima is the winner. The momentum says Eala is the winner. It is a paradox. It is a riddle that will only be solved on the court. The broader implication for the season is also huge. A win here for Eala cements her status as the new queen of Asian tennis. It sets her up for a deep run in the tournament and potentially a top 40 ranking. For Ukijima, a win here revitalizes her career. It proves she can beat the next big thing on her home turf. It sends a message that she is not done yet. We are looking at a battle of styles, a battle of nations, and a battle of career trajectories. The Philippines Open has its marquee matchup. The preview is over. The reality is about to begin. And that, my friends, is a comprehensive breakdown of the matchup that is all Japan, an entire tennis world, holding its breath. We have peeled back the layers of this fascinating encounter between Alexandra Eala and Moyuka Uchijima. We've looked at the stats, the history, the tactical nuances, and immense emotional weight resting on the shoulders of both competitors. To summarize the key takeaways from our deep dive, first, do not underestimate Moyuka Uchijima. The headline screams shocked because the Japanese know exactly how dangerous she is. A 13-time champion with a flat, penetrating game and a previous victory over Eala is a formidable obstacle. She has the experience, the pedigree, and the tactical blueprint to spoil the party in Manila. Second, Alex Eala is entering this match as a different beast than the one who lost in Wuhan. She is a top 50 player now. She has the confidence, the form, and most importantly, the home crowd. The physical and mental evolution we have seen from her in the first month of 2026 suggests she is ready to overturn that previous result. Third, the conditions and the crowd will play a massive role. The heat of Manila and the roar of the Filipino fans are the variables that Uchijima cannot simulate in practice. If Eala can harness that energy without letting it turn into pressure, she has a distinct advantage. This match at the Philippines Open is more than just a second-round or quarterfinal clash. It is a litmus test. For Eala, it is a test of her ability to defend her territory and defeat a bogey player. For Uchijima, it is a test of her resilience and her ability to silence a hostile environment. Who do you think walks away with the victory? Will it be the 13-time champion Moyuka Uchijima, relying on her experience and flat hitting to dismantle the home favorite once again? Or will it be Alex Eala, riding the wave of her top 50 breakthrough, using her lefty spin and the power of the Manila crowd to exact her revenge? I want to hear your predictions in the comments section below. Do not just give me a name, give me the scoreline. Are we going to see another 3-set thriller, like in Wuhan? Or will one of these women deliver a straight sets masterclass? Let me know if you think the shock in Japan is justified. Are they right to be worried? Or is Uchijima being underestimated? Also, keep an eye on the weather reports and the court assignments. We will be updating our community tab with any last-minute changes that could affect the match dynamics. If you enjoyed this extensive deep dive preview, please make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel and tells us that you want more of these long-form, detailed breakdowns. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our post-match analysis. We will be back immediately after the final point is played to break down exactly what happened, whether the shock was realized, or the home favorite held her ground. This is the Philippines Open. This is Eala versus Uchijima. This is the match of the week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting Deep Dive Tennis Analysis. And as always, enjoy the tennis. We will see you in the next one.